Welcome to the Vocal Lab podcast with your hosts Shelby Rollins and Jason Catrone, bringing you the best from the music industry. Get ready for first-class conversations packed with exclusive techniques and transformative insights, all designed to help you reach your top note. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. Welcome, Shelby.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
I am better now.
Dan, you were.
Well, I said this in a different episode. We were all sick over Christmas break.
Oh, right.
A couple different things passed through our household, and glad to be done with it.
Yeah, I was talking to our good friend Dr. Gupta not long ago, and
Dr. Gupta.
I asked her specifically. I said, "Is there a direct correlation?" I feel there is, and have there been many studies on us coming through COVID and people being more frequently sick now? And she said, absolutely. And there's a lot of studies on it.
Because we tanked our immune systems not being around each other for a while?
Partly that, partly the variant itself made us more susceptible to just like common colds and such. There's probably many reasons, but yeah. But the way COVID also affected our, those of us who had it, the way it affected our respiratory systems. Yeah. Right. There's some lingering effects that kind of come up more often. So that's just fascinating. So everyone stay healthy out there. Try not to kiss people you don't know, and
sage advice.
Yeah.
Truly.
And
try not to kiss people you don't know.
Yeah. And like Shelby, wear a face mask every day.
And if you don't know,
she never did that.
I never did.
I'm like, Shelby, put your mask on. She's like, I don't believe in that.
Nope. I didn't.
Anyway, that was another day and another time.
Podcast.
We are on to.
We're not going to go there.
Better things.
Yeah, because we have a better guest than that conversation would. Allow us
for
to
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really excited to find everything about our guest today.
Yes.
So thrilled to have her here. Everyone, please welcome Tera Lynne to the podcast.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tera Lynne with the lovely
coming.
locks.
Yes.
Your hair color
your hair's
is
fabulous.
Thank
really
you.
like vibrant and fascinating.
Yes, it is. And the
Pay good money for this.
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, those are facts. Like what it cost me to get a haircut is silly.
What do you pay for a haircut?
$75.
Yeah,
that is silly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
This is why Tanner cuts our boys' hair.
Is it you go to like
just a
barber?
salon? And I could just go to a salon.
I always wonder if barbers
they're not
pricing
any
is
cheaper.
different
Maybe a
than salons.
little
They
bit.
are.
I would think so.
Mine's $65.
Oh, well,
and
$10.
you've told us about your guy. That's been on the podcast.
That's $10 cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I used to only cut my hair, and in terms of going to have hair maintenance until I started getting gray hair, and now I color it.
We should do a Flowbee episode.
I am not above
We
coloring
should do a
my hair.
Flowbee
episode.
I feel like
Love it.
Shelby had a
Flowbee.
Flowbee.
What is that?
Wow, Shelby.
I know that word, but I don't remember what that is.
It's like a self-cutting hair cutting tool.
But it's like a vacuum.
I had a vacuum.
Yeah.
It would suck up the hair.
Remember, like it would be like
Tanner needs that. We always get the boys' hair all over the bathroom floor.
George
when he cuts their
Clooney
hair.
has exclusively used Flowbee for like 20 plus years.
Yeah.
it's like a
cut
little
his
hair
own hair?
vacuum, and it cuts
With a
his
Flowbee.
George Clooney cuts his own hair.
With a Flowbee.
Okay, I need to.
It's on video.
Can I
He
get
has
this
said
on
it on video.
Amazon?
Video.
They also work on dogs. Like that was part of the
Oh,
commercial.
yeah.
Like you
I've
can
seen
use
it.
it on your pets.
I dated a boy in
Wow.
high school whose grandma used it. And so she just had like the like old school lady poofy hair, and she
That's
just would flip her
crazy.
head over in the living room and like watch Days of Our Lives and Flowbee her head.
I wonder how much money I wonder who invented the Flowbee and how much money they made off that thing.
Probably enough.
Yeah, probably enough.
Enough. It was one of those, you know how it used to on TV there would be commercials, like just advertising things. And they'd be like, act now, and we'll throw in. It was one of those those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Totally
they maybe
remember
had it at Christmas time at Walgreens when they had like chia pets and stuff too, right?
Just in that one
Yeah.
aisle.
Yeah,
it's just
that
like
one
any
aisle.
box
As seen on
gift.
TV.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a chia pet?
Yes.
I think I had one. I do. I
don't think I
believe
ever did.
Yeah.
I think we had too many pets to
Have a
get a
chia
fake
pet?
one.
Right.
Yeah.
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 That's what I should get my kids. Our dog died earlier this past year, and they were like, "Can we get another dog?" And we're like, "Nope,
Oh yeah.
love you, but no, I can't have another living creature in this house to
Yeah.
have to be responsible of, in addition to the 3 children." So
Guess what?
maybe I get them a chia pet.
Girl,
I'm going to get you on our
Or a
2-year podcast
Tamagotchi.
anniversary. A new puppy.
Do not buy me a dog. Do not buy ways to ruin Christmas. Like wrap up a cat and give it to my kids.
I'm at the
like
point in my
Oh, easy,
our
easy.
friendship is over.
Easy with the
Carlos.
cat hate.
I'm not a cat person. I love dogs. I love animals. Kittens are real cute.
Yeah.
My hairstylist actually just got a cat, and it's the only cat I've ever met that I liked.
Oh, wow.
It's a ragdoll cat.
They're very cute.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
It's very cute.
Fluffy.
Yeah, they're almost like cartoon looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a cat?
It's funny.
Yeah, we have
It's a funny
two.
cat.
Oh.
Yeah, I have 2 cats.
Wait, what kind?
Carlos is so excited.
He's a cat guy.
There's
What colors, I guess?
One, her name's Matilda, but we call her Kit Kat. I don't know how that happened. But and she's got like a caramel tricolored, no white, but it's all like brown and yellows and she's fluffy. She's poofy, long haired. They told us that she had Maine Coon. Oh, she's so tiny. There's no way she has Maine Coon in her. And then the other Mowgli, who's the boy, he's Mowgli and Matilda. I thought it was cute.
That was very cute.
But Mowgli is he's one of those cats that like he's a boy when he's walking to you. You're like, you are all testosterone. Like whatever's going on here, you are ruling the kingdom. And he's gray, like striped.
Yeah, tabby.
Tabby, yeah. I love cats. I don't know anything about them, but I love them.
Cool.
Yeah,
Carlos is our resident cat expert.
Okay.
Well,
he's got a white like cotton tip on his tail.
My wife loves cats, and I used to hate cats. And then we started dating, and then when she moved to Nashville in 2020, she said, "I want a cat." And so then she adopted one, and then I adopted one, and so we have 2 Flame Point Siamese cats.
Oh, wow.
So they're white fur, blue eyes.
My grandma had 3 of those, and she named every single one Tango.
Yeah.
Same name?
One Tango
That's
would die,
awesome.
the new Tango would come in.
Oh, they weren't all together
No.
at the same time.
It was like
Tango
but
one, Tango
consecutively.
two,
Yeah.
That's so funny.
She'd be like, oh, that's Tango. I'm like, yep, for 20 years.
Tango, the eternal cat. Yeah.
That's really
Days of our
funny.
lives.
Interesting lady.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Well, as much as Carlos would love us to sit and talk about cats this whole podcast, we should really talk about
maybe
you
Talk about you.
and your music.
Yeah.
Like give us the little snapshot. Like, how'd you get into this field?
Sure.
And where are you now? What's exciting you? Give us the deets.
Okay. Yeah. So I moved to Nashville about 13 years ago. I'm from St. Louis. I moved right after I turned 21. I had graduated college. I went for music therapy. I was working at a car dealership because music therapy, it's still not considered a necessity by insurance companies. So everybody who uses it has to go through private insurance, and you just don't make a great living, to be frank.
Yeah.
So I had some friends that studied that in college too.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed learning it. It's a fascinating subject to have in my mind, especially doing music full time and knowing how it correlates with the brain and body and spirit.
If I were president, I would make an executive order that insurance pays for music therapy.
You would be shocked at the good it
Stop
does.
being a total racket.
Yeah,
And not paying for anything.
Yeah,
Making
in
me
general.
pay for insurance, but still making me also pay for my health care.
Yep.
Never mind. That's also
Yes.
another
That's
podcast.
Hey,
another
girl, we can go
podcast.
down that one too.
Atlanta.
We're here.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
Yeah, so I moved. Long story short, I had been coming down to Nashville for a couple months after graduating, just doing songwriters rounds and making some friends and trying to find my niche. I got offered a job to play in a band down on Broadway on one of my visits, and an old man named Greg Humphrey, I was with a group of friends. We were going to a Predators game. And so we had stopped in at Rippy's to have a drink or so before the game started. Old man Greg Humphrey was sitting on stage. He was playing bass. And he pointed me out in the crowd. I had had enough drinks where he was like, "You're a singer." I was like, "I'm a singer." And so he got me on stage. I sang a couple of songs. I gave him my business card. And he shoved the tip jar in my face. And he said, he had a really long white beard. He kind of, I say this with love, but he kind of looked like a homeless Santa.
Yeah.
And he shoved this tip jar in my face. He was like, "If you can fill this tip jug, I'll have a job for you." And so I did. I took the tip jug, ran around, brought it back. We went to the game. He took my business card, called me about 2 weeks later. He was like, "What are you doing for CMA Fest?" He was like, "Tera Lynne, it's Greg Humphrey. What are you doing for CMA Fest?" And I was like, "Nothing. What do you want me to do?" And so I came down, played with his band for CMA Fest, and then went back home to St. Louis. And he called me about 2 weeks later and said, if you want to move, I've got a job for you. So I packed everything I could think of, got in my little car, and I had 2 bags of shoes, 1 bag of clothes, my guitar. I had traded in another guitar to get strings and a strap and microphone and things like that. moved to Nashville and stayed on a girl's couch. One of the friends that I'd made, she let me stay there for about 3 weeks. So I figured out where I was going to live and started playing on Broadway. Did that solid for about 8 years, 5 nights a week. I had never even been in a band. I had never really sang on stage.
That's where I wanted to pause for a bit because I was like, what were you doing before all this in St. Louis?
I just loved music.
Okay.
I had worked at a music store all through college, all through high school. I had taken any lesson that they would let me take between drums and vocals and piano and guitar and avid concert goer. I had one friend that I worked at the music store with that was in a band. They were called Dodging Potholes. And so I would go see them play.
That's appropriate Nashville band, by the way.
But I would go see them play and just always was infatuated by it. I just always, when I was little and people would ask me what I wanted to do when I grew up, I always said I wanted to be the girl in music videos. Like, I want to be the girl in music videos. So I don't know that I could ever say that I consciously at that time in my life had been like, I want to do music full time. I want to be an artist. I want to write songs and sing them and, be the next Marina Lambert. I don't know if I had ever verbally said that. I think it was very much an internal desire that maybe I was too insecure to say out loud. But I moved to Nashville and was on Broadway for about 8 years. What was the catalyst? Go ahead.
Well, again, just that. You said on average like 5 nights a week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fascinated.
It.
Well, I'm just even fascinated that you were not doing this before and you dive into 5 nights a week.
That's crazy.
That's
well, I needed money.
Well, no, I get that, but I'm just saying like physically, vocally.
Yeah.
Like that
I
you
went
were
through a lot of vocal trauma.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I had taken a handful of vocal lessons. I was in choir all through high school, the whole 9 yards, but that type of singing for those taxing hours and not knowing what I'm doing other than like following my gut, right?
Yeah, just giving it your all.
Yeah, just leaving it all in the field, as they say.
Yeah.
No, I definitely have gone through a handful. There's 2 times specifically that I truly lost my voice. In high school, I ended up having... I had a tumor on my vocal cord.
Oh, wow.
Nothing to do with my singing habits or anything of that, but I just, my body. So I've had 1 vocal surgery when I was in high school to have that removed. It was benign, nothing crazy. But, so I've always had a natural rasp, a natural growl, in general, but my voice definitely took a toll on Broadway. I'm thankful that the two times that I've hurt my voice because of Broadway and because of lack of technique and education, I didn't have to have surgery. I did, 6-8 weeks of vocal rest, and that's actually how I picked up painting. I'm a painter, but I needed to make money, and I couldn't get a job because I couldn't talk.
Right.
So I started painting and selling paintings online. And
well, there's 2 valid points to make here. One, for anyone out there listening to this, if you're an artist, you need to. I'm a big believer. Get your voice checked once a year by the doctor.
Hands down.
And by a very highly skilled, trained expert in that, as well as
technique.
Work on your vocal, especially if you if you're thrust into a world like you are, it's necessary.
Yeah.
Because that is like the workhorse of singers, same as like doing Broadway. And you need to know your skill sets and your chops, right?
Yeah. You also have to have the ability to say no. That was something that I didn't have the capacity for a long time.
True.
That's how I hurt my voice. I knew my voice needed a rest.
Yeah, you just couldn't say no.
I just couldn't say no.
No, and you probably need to make money.
But I also think it was my inability to say no was also largely influenced by the company that I was working for, making me scared to say no. Of like, well, if you don't show up, somebody else will.
Get someone else.
Yeah, and it's like, so not only are you, and I couldn't have been more. What's the word I'm looking for? Loyal to that franchise than I was. So the fact that they were unwilling to help me or give me grace or give me a day off or allow me to rest without panicking that I wasn't going to have a job when I come back 6 weeks later. It I had a lot of life lessons that I haven't really unraveled till like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Sure.
So
now, in saying that you worked for a company, this is the company that was booking you for all the Broadway gigs. Mm-hmm. Okay, was it like an agency? You don't have to name a name by any means, but a lot of people do that just kind of like of their own volition, right?
Well,
independent artists.
Yeah. So, and especially when I moved here, it was still kind of the Wild West down there.
Yeah.
I couldn't even name you a female fronted band when I moved here. Mm-hmm. If you were a female on a stage, you were a side, not to say side piece, but you were a side piece. Yeah. You know, the guy ran it. It was in his name. It was his banner. It was, and then the girl sang a couple songs and ran the tip jug and sang harmonies and looked cute.
Yeah.
You know? And that was just the reality of the situation at the time. I'm thankful to say that has evolved immensely. But so I don't mind saying the name. It was Tootsie's. I worked for Tootsie's for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And they own...
Which is one of the main bars.
Yeah, and they own, Rippies, and they own part of Kid Rocks. They own Honky Tonk Central. They own a lot of places that they, lots of bands, lots of stages to be on.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for them, as in they were where I cut my teeth. They allowed me to have the stage to do what I did and figure out how to lead a band and figure out how to work a sound system when the sound guy doesn't show up and figure out how to banter and figure out how to keep a crowd and figure out how to sell drinks and figure out, there was so many things that their stages allowed me to do, but I figured it out, what I got from them was a little, on the back end of it all was standing my ground and using my voice to say, this isn't right. I was getting paid less than my male counterparts because I was female. Like, it was crazy to think about.
And that's such an important lesson for artists is to learn that kind of like artist to
your
CEO
worth.
Mindset. Yeah, your worth.
It's like the mafia down there.
Like advocate for yourself. Nobody's going to have your back like you. Yeah. So, and I think it's very common for women for sure. But it's, they're scared to say no. They're scared to speak up.
Well, and I was 21. Yeah. I was 21 and a severe people pleaser.
And new to town.
And your first job in the music industry.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah. But also, mad props to you that you're playing Tootsie's new to town at 21. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It really is. And,
I ride a weird line with it. I absolutely adore it and I love it. And there's part of me that was like, there was so much wrong with it.
I think there's so many of us that feel that way, not being as close to it as you've been, of course, but there is this love-hate with people here in Nashville. We're talking about Broadway, downtown Nashville, the big entertainment district, not Broadway, New York, for those of you in,
It's where you're getting up there
Denmark.
And playing country covers all night long.
Yeah, it's just it's a strip of town, a long street with hundreds of bars now and restaurants.
Of floors,
and
hundreds of bands.
Multiple floors. And they're just...
pumping live music.
Live music, hundreds of bands. It's like there's nothing like it on earth.
10 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah, there's nothing like it on earth. It's crazy. And so, to your point, it is also a very big life lesson. A good friend of mine, we talk often about the difference in the creator class and the business class within music business.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Because it's exactly what you're saying. You have the business class, which in this instance refers to the owners of the bars, right? The bookers of talent in that downtown area and the actual talent. Oftentimes you're not on the same page other than the show just has to go on, right? And so the last thing, the primary thing I would think on the business class mind is we got to make money. We got to keep these doors open. Let's turn these profits up, sell the beer. You're like, get tips. And over here, you're like, I'm on show 3 this week and I'm dead. And I've got 2 more to go. And
my rent's due.
And I can't lose this spot. Someone else will get it. It is the most volatile, dangerous, and I don't know what other word I want to use there. You might have a word, Shelby, but it's really unfortunate that is just how this business is. Yeah. That does not happen in the NFL.
No.
Right? Now, occasionally there might be a play or maybe early stages of an athlete's life where the coach is like, you got to go back in the game. We got to win this. But at some point, there comes the
artist or the player, the person providing the service
can't get
treated
hurt.
With regard.
Yes.
They are a sacred entity to the success of the business.
Yeah.
And it's not like that in music.
It's not. In every other sport, they know if you're not healthy, you can't do it.
Yeah. Right. And they don't even attempt to go like, you'll be fine. No.
I think one of the main reasons is like the voice as a muscle is so hidden and mysterious within a person's body that it's not quite as on the nose or direct in terms of like,
well, the lay person doesn't get it.
The lay person for sure does not get it. And like when athletes injure like their ACL or something like that, right? They know how vital it is for that muscle, that ligament, a tendon to stay proper usage, or they're out and your season is done for, especially a high profile player or whatever. The voice is so,
it's not physical.
It's considered
you can't
such
see
an
it.
aesthetic thing rather than a physical thing that it's not always treated with the same kind of regard or protection and care, because it's kind of like, oh, it's just like that, just kind of, well, it's cool. You got a rasp, like use that or something, and not realizing that you're just driving it down into the ground.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's part of my theory.
It's the lack of visual. You turn an ACL, you see it. They limp, they're on crutches, they have surgery, it's swollen.
Yes.
Your vocal cords get damaged. You're just
you look the
person
same.
sitting in a corner.
Yeah. I also think it's the lack of regimen, discipline, and what's the other word I don't want to use there? But like, there's not this long path of progression of doing the quote unquote sport of singing. That like of another sport like baseball, basketball, whatever. So the whole time a kid's growing up through their life playing this sport, they're getting physicals. They're training these muscles. It's very structured, and they're also very aware of their health stats. We just sing, most of us. Most singers don't even take lessons or work on the voice. Like you're like, I didn't really do much. And so there's not this history of this is how we develop it, take care of it, maintain and sustain it for as long as we can. So we all make money off of it. It's like, no, get on the stage, girl. Right?
Yep. You got that raw talent.
Yeah.
Kind of hate that term.
That was kind
sometimes.
of one of my bigger, since my voice was already naturally raspy, when it was damaged and it was just like exaggerated raspiness, everyone was like, oh, it sounds so cool. I'm like, oh no, it's damaged. It's actually really bad.
So what got you away from that?
I was about to ask the same question.
Arena? How did you get from there into your own artistry?
So the catalyst for all of that, we're going to take a little bit of a left turn at Albuquerque here, but my mom passed away in 2019. And thank you. She passed from pancreatic cancer. It came out of nowhere. It was, we had about a year and a half from diagnosis to passing. And my mom was only 52 or 53 at the time. And like healthy as a horse. My mom never smoked, drank, she was a very straight laced lady, outside all the time, was a horse trainer, was around, looking at her, you would have been, it just didn't, A plus B did not equal C. So I had experienced loss in very small, like a soccer coach and like a friend from high school. I had never experienced loss that close to me. Still had all my grandparents at the time. Like it was just but so once I got a taste of mortality and like the vastness of it. I kind of looked at my environment and at myself and went, and it's a common thought when you lose a parent early, but it's like, okay, if I only lived to 52, I'm 27, I'm not good at math, 24, 23 years left. Right. What am I doing? And as much as I would be lying if I said I did not thoroughly enjoy making music on Broadway. The act of having my band and the act of creating music, I don't care what stage it's on. Would I love to be at Red Rocks? Yes. I'll call you guys the day. I'll give you tickets the day it happens. But if I'm in my living room and my buddies are over and we're making music, I'm enjoying my life, you know? But the reality is I do not feel in my being and my purpose and my soul that my cap is being a bar singer. You know? So the loss of my mom really allowed me to take a step back and take stock and go, all right, we're thankful for this time because we've officially filled our tool belt. We have so many tools. I have so many different angles I can approach this from. I am the queen of I'll figure it out. It can't be that hard. I have a very healthy dose of that. And why am I not doing more?
Yeah.
You know, why am I not focusing on my artistry? Why am I not focusing on the songs that I'm writing? And I just went like through a brick wall. I just like head first and was like, all right, I want to be an artist. And I think I also needed time to develop the belief in myself and the capability to say that out loud, to look somebody in the eye and say, no, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
When people say, what do you do? I don't say, oh, I sing. I'm like, I'm an artist.
Wow.
And that's it. A lot of people look at you a little bit like a crazy, you know, it's like, no.
And it's a really hard thing to say.
Yeah.
It's a really hard thing for an artist to get to the point where we work with artists a lot. And this is one thing we have to drill in on. I still sometimes have a problem saying it.
Oh yeah, it ebbs and flows.
Right? Yeah, I will.
Because there's no like official benchmark, you know, for in
no, it's a
creativity
mindset.
Typically of like at this point now you can call yourself a professional. Now you can say that you're officially an artist or something.
Yeah, no one gives you the title.
Or in other jobs where it's like,
and now you're the CEO.
Exactly.
And now you're an intern.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's like nobody looks at you and goes like, here's your degree, you're an artist.
Yeah.
You just have to wake up one day and embody it.
Yes.
So right.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so good.
You really do.
But yes, I think there's something that the brevity of life can really spark in all of us, of whether it's loss or something like that, of like, hey, there's only, after this moment, there's only less time available, not more. So waiting around, there can be wisdom in waiting to do something, you know, risky or whatever. But by and large, most of us are waiting on, I mean, God knows what. We're just waiting on the seas to part or something to make it feel like, oh, it's my time, it's the sign, and look, the path is cleared before me. When in reality, typically going at the right time means going through the brick wall. Yeah. Because there's often obstacles. It doesn't mean that when you get the enlightenment of like, now,
yeah, that moment doesn't happen.
That doesn't.
I have not.
It's like, well, you might feel that the time is now, but that doesn't mean that the path is open.
No.
Right? It means you typically have to charge through something and break some walls down. That's why they call it the breakthrough, right? You have to break through something. Yeah. It's not all of a sudden like,
it's usually yourself.
It's easy. Yeah. Yeah.
Facts.
It's usually yourself.
Facts. Yeah. So did you just do a hard stop? You're like, I'm going to quit downtown.
No. And and I play on Monday nights at Friends in Low Places.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
So that is, the reason that I play there is because they treat artists like human beings.
Wow.
They pay for Nashville, Tennessee. They pay well for Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah.
Which also, side note to everyone out there, tip your artists when you come to Nashville. Yeah. Tip them.
But I cannot speak highly enough of Friends in Low Places and the people that run it. Everyone that works there wants to be there. They give you a great stage. It's a great light show. It's just all around. I have not experienced a better environment downtown Nashville.
Are you on that the second level of that stage as you come up? And it's, I've only been there a couple times.
I'm on that first floor.
Yeah.
But
so that's a fun room too.
It is. Yeah. And I love Mondays because it's mostly corporate people. We play 6 to 10. So it's my wheelhouse. I get to sing the songs that have inspired me and I love. Yeah. And corporate people, they have money.
Totally. Do you have it? We love corporate people. Is there a song that you get the $100 tip for? Meaning for people listening, like a lot of these bars downtown,
I know what you speak of.
They're like certain songs
Free
get
Bird,
requests all the time. Free
Devil
Bird,
out of Georgia,
Sweet Home Alabama,
sometimes Wagon Wheel.
Yeah, Wagon Wheel.
There's a handful of humdingers.
Man, I Feel Like a Woman, and they'll have on a little board $100 for this song.
Yes.
Right. So you got to pay up if you really want that song. Right.
So I'm going to be honest. Do I do that? Yes, but another reason I'm really thankful for Friends is that the way that we run our show, I've learned to lead the audience to where we're going. So we do requests, and we do a lot of requests, but it's always in the vein of what we're already presenting.
That's good.
We don't play a whole bunch of country. We do if it's asked for, and we're very capable. If you want anything from Willie Nelson to Luke Combs to Conway Twitty, I gotcha. There's all the things you want to hear. When I first moved here, you really only played old school country.
Yeah.
So,
what I always thought was a weird song by Conway Twitty? My dad loved Conway Twitty.
Horniest man of the 70s.
It's true. That's true.
Fun facts.
Yeah.
Some of those songs, if you like, when you hear like, when
I Want a Man with a Slow Hand,
Oh,
like that. As a kid, I was like, what does this mean,
yes, it's just some of his songs. You're just like, sir, calm down.
I want to with an
Lover with an
easy
easy touch or something.
Yeah, Lover, yeah. Like,
Love to lay you down.
Yeah.
I'd love to lay you down.
He really was in it, wasn't he?
It's explicit
Yeah.
Lay
content.
me down and
Yeah.
make me whisper.
I love words in your
Your
ears.
dad.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can still hear it
Yeah.
in my head. That's crazy. Yeah, that you just threw Conway in there.
But
Yeah.
you were saying you've learned how to lead the audience to where you're going.
I've learned how to navigate the show where it's kind of like when you plant a seed and it grows and then they're like, oh, look, you have flowers. I'm like, I planted those seeds like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a little bit of but things I've learned being on Broadway. You know, that's a tool that I've developed over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still do $100 requests, but our show doesn't lead to people being like, we want a wagon wheel.
Yeah, okay,
you know?
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great point too of your journey so far is you went straight to the wolves. You got
I was baptism by
biz,
fire.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Music biz 101, performance 101. And what I find today with, I think the majority of artists, they may have one little component, like maybe they're good online with social media and that's how they start to pop off.
Yeah.
Or maybe they grew up doing church and theater and so they have this performance component to them. But it's rare in today's world that you find someone who's kind of done a little bit of it all and kind of just through fire refined these really tenets of being a great artist. And performance, I think, is, and I've talked about it on this podcast many times, is one of the dying art forms. We're just not getting performance. It's harder to do live performance.
Yeah.
It's so expensive to do it. A lot of people don't want to do it unless they have all the things, right? And so
well, it's vulnerable.
it's so vulnerable.
It's vulnerable to perform live and to be a performer, not just to be up there singing.
Yeah.
And I think it runs the gamut. It's like anything else in the world, but you know, like George Strait, he can stand there and he can sing, and you still feel like you left George Strait going like, wow, he's cool.
He's a unique
and
artist.
then you
in that
have
regard.
Lady Gaga, who is theater. You know, David Bowie. They've run such a gamut of what encompasses the definition of performance.
Yeah.
Person to person, right? Definition by definition. But everything that you just said, I'm really proud that I feel like I can look people in the eye and go like, I am the jack of all trades. And, you know, if you know that whole phrase, I'd have to get it, like pull it up on my phone, but it's that jack of all trades, but master of none, but the jack of all trades is a better way to be.
Yeah.
You know, like
I
it's
live
more
by that.
encompassing and you're able to cross all the boxes. That is something that I think I do embody. I really have.
Yeah.
And Broadway did help me figure out a lot of that.
Yeah. And for a lot of people, after having an experience like that and feeling like they kind of got, you know,
Put
maybe
through the
taken
ringer.
advantage of.
Yeah.
A lot of people would turn away and be like, this is not for me. This industry is not what
Yeah.
I thought it was. And so maybe
But that's
lay
where
it
the
down.
music got me.
Yeah.
Like way, you know, you're like, how did you get away from it? Like, I didn't get away from it. I started choosing the environment in which I would make it in. And Friends is a safe place for me to do that. They respect me. I respect them. They respect my band. And my band respects that as well. You know, it's a yin and yang of a relationship. But I've also learned about myself. If I were to not play once a week, I would run into walls. That is, I call it my sanity gig. Like those Monday nights to me are sacred. Like we show up, you know, we are happy to see each other. We're not exhausted because we're not doing, or at least I'm not. Some of my band does play a lot down there still, but you know, it's just, I go like, oh, I can take this whole week and for the next 4 hours, I get to just like expel whatever I need out.
So good.
That's
You know,
really cool.
and it's, I'm a big advocate, like music is sacred. No matter where you're making it, you're literally like sending vibrations through those beings around you. It goes through bodies, it goes through walls, it goes through time, it goes through space. And that's how I approach it. I'm like, all right, it's not quite going to church, but it's my version of church, you know?
Yeah.
So, I still go down there on Mondays. I travel most weekends. You know, I've been working really hard on building little communities. I've got a great community in Key West. I've got a great community in St. Louis. I've played a lot in Wisconsin now. I'm building these little markets for myself, part of the
So smart.
independent industry strategy, right? Like find these little markets and go be in the flesh.
Yeah.
Like we all know how important social media is. We all know how big of a part it plays in the business world for us from booking to management to label to radio. Everybody, well, what's the numbers? Well, who's streaming? How many monthly listeners do you have? And what's your TikTok look like? It's real. That is a real component of the industry that is not going away anytime soon. Yeah. But to be boots on the ground and in the flesh in front of people, gaining fans and collecting those email addresses and selling your merch and hearing their stories and sharing your songs, like, I don't know if we will ever really beat that.
That's the real stuff.
Yeah.
That's the realest stuff. And I think, what you're saying, all of this is you're willing to do that.
It's hard.
And you find, it seems like you find a lot of joy from doing that. Like it's the
music,
good part of it, right? I mean, it's not easy.
And you're having to,
the music is my joy.
You're having to invest in that.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
We talk a lot about
it's not cheap to do that. That's part of your investment strategy into your
investing in
business.
myself.
Yeah. Right.
We talk a lot about on this podcast about how the music industry has a way of somewhat weeding people out, and that's okay because this is not for everyone.
No,
it's really not.
I saw a great quote the other day that I'm going to have to paraphrase, but the essence of it was basically, who makes it in the music industry is not, and we all know this, it's not who's the most talented.
Right.
It's who has the most, give me a second here. It's who has the most regulated nervous system.
Oh, 100%.
Bingo.
So good.
Bingo
yes,
on that.
Absolutely.
So like, I feel like I talk about almost like stamina, like who's the last standing.
Yeah.
It is.
But having a trial, like the loss of your mom, brings things into clarity for people, whether it be, I need to either double down and really do what I wanted, what I came here to do in the first place, what's really in me.
Yeah.
Or I actually need to do something else, and the fire of trials can really burn things away, whether it's, and that's not good or bad. It just is, right? So for some people it should maybe shift them out of maybe the vein of music or something, or the industry itself. And then for others, it should make them burn harder for what they're doing and bring a lot more focus into the work. And it sounds like that's exactly what it's done for you. And you're the type of people that also, we talk about this, people need to get weeded out. And I don't mean that negatively, but so that other artists like yourself who really are meant to be doing this have a little bit of a clearer path, because it's maybe too congested with people who aren't actually really meant
There's
to do
too
it.
much noise, and I'm hopeful in my own way that AI is going to help weed out so many people that just want to be artists or musicians,
or just want to be famous,
and it's going to create a little bit clearer path for those it's really their passion and their purpose to be there.
Because a lot of people are going to look at the AI artist thing and be like, "Forget it, I'm out. I'm not competing against AI."
Right, because what you're doing is never going to compete with AI. I don't believe.
No.
Boots on the ground,
live performing,
it's
touching people, connecting with people, and we're going to crave that more and more as a human condition the further we go down this path of AI. And so
I agree completely.
I think you're brilliantly doing some amazing things strategically here.
Thank you.
And I would actually love you to maybe give a few tips from your own path and like trial and error findings for people out there who are independent artists or thinking about it, like some strategic steps to take to kind of cut through some of that early noise.
Yeah. So I have two thoughts. One, when you were speaking earlier about the weeding out, or how some people will look at it and be like, oh, it's just too much, or it's too hard, or this is silly or stupid, or whatever you want to say. I just had one of those moments not that long ago. And so one thing I always, when I speak to my fellow artists, or, I've had a handful of people ask me for advice and whatnot. And it's, I always tell them, like, my social media is, I've worked really hard to make it look great and professional and, work on my sound and be proud of what I do. I was like, but you have to understand, I still wake up, I don't want to say regularly. I have moments though, where I go like, God, whoever's up there, whatever's going on, bigger than me, if there is something else that I can do that will offer me security and happiness, let me find it.
Preach.
That's real.
Like truly, because it can be devastating sometimes. And
I tell people all the time, it's a blessing and it's a curse.
It truly is.
And
it's like the definition of it.
It really is, and I think through that beautiful animosity and anxiety that can happen, it allows us to feel, though, right? And to breathe deeper, to trust and rely on more, something bigger.
Yeah.
And I just my hunch, I've never done it. I think a lot of people wake up and go to a normal job every day and just live in the mundane and the boring. They just don't feel, and they exist. And so they don't have the curse of what we're walking in.
Yeah.
They may have a blessing of a steady paycheck or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is some beauty to that cursedness that we feel.
You're always
right?
face to face with your most vulnerable self.
Yeah.
And that can be exhausting.
And I don't know if that ever goes away. I don't know if Lady Gaga wakes up in the morning and doesn't have this moment of like, why am I doing this?
I don't think so either.
I assume she does.
I would assume so.
I think sometimes that's probably
her bed might be more comfortable than mine.
Well, sure. She probably has multiple beds in multiple places. Yes. But I think
these problems find me.
Yeah, right. I have a client. I don't know if I've ever said this on the show. I have a client that like he'll be talking about someone, or we'll be somewhere in like something like this, right? And he'll be like, "God, I see what you do for others."
Yeah, sincerely though, that is one thing I have clung to. Right? The last 6 months, I have clung to that. I'm like, may these problems find me.
Yeah, right.
But crying about my successful music career and my Mercedes, may it find me.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I think that's maybe oftentimes why a lot of artists they've been super successful. Like I just went a couple months ago to the Anne Marie tribute at the Grand Ole Opry, right?
Yeah.
And she hasn't sang in, I don't know how many years, 30 years, 25, I don't know. Wow. She just stopped and she moved to Canada, where she's from. I guess she was already living there. She just stopped living in her house and started playing golf every day. She didn't sing that night. She didn't get on stage. She was lovely backstage, but you could tell she was very like overwhelmed and maybe a little felt out of place. Like, why are all these people celebrating me like this? Yeah. So I think sometimes artists get to the place where they do have that success and the money to kind of just stop, and they just stop. And then they just enjoy another passion.
Yeah.
That doesn't have the pressure behind it.
Yeah.
Or
the silliness.
Or the nonstop competitive, I got to keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, may we find those problems.
Yes.
You said there were two things.
Yes. And then my other thought while you were speaking, you brought up AI, which obviously is a very hot topic for many industries, particularly creative ones right now. I saw a Steve Carell speech, the actor. I don't know if he was on a panel for something, but a little glimmer that I'm clinging to that he brought up in this speech was, he's like, AI is here. It's not going anywhere. Excuse me. It's only going to get better. But with the inability for the common consumer to no longer know what is real and what's not with their own eyes, the only way that they will be able to experience it is to be in the flesh.
Yeah. Bam, that's so good, Steve Carell. Yeah. Let's get him on this podcast.
So I would die.
Well, what he said, he's like,
we'll have you back if he does.
But he said, he was like, I really think that live performance, whether it's theater, concerts, whatever you want to, magic, whatever you want to say, is going to have a renaissance. We're going to have a resurgence of the live performance.
So yeah.
Which after COVID, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But that's what I'm clinging to. I'm like, you know what? Yeah. We can roll with AI. Maybe we'll learn something from it. Maybe it'll try to murder us all. I don't know.
Yeah,
but what I do know is that I do trust that instinct level. One thing that I know being a human and I trust in is that we need connection. Humans need to feel connected to other humans, whether it's standing next to them, whether it's eye contact, whether it's hearing a story, whether it's telling a story. But we don't function well without connection.
Right.
And the only way we get that is being in the flesh. Because I'm even like that in business. Like people want to do Google Meets all the time now. Like, let's talk about being in business together. I'm like, I need to meet you.
Yeah.
I can look at you, but I need to get a coffee with you. Like if I'm going to put you on a stipend monthly to help me do what I'm doing, I need to feel you.
You
know, like,
unless you live in
after that, we can Google Meet all we need to. But like, I need to meet you in the flesh.
We actually have yet to do, we've been doing this podcast for like over a year and a half. And we have yet to do any virtual interviews.
Good for
we have only done in person.
Yeah.
And it's harder, but it's so much better. Enjoyable because of that. And, you know, I didn't really think about kind of what you were saying about the connection really between, I thought about live performance and AI, but COVID and connection and AI and connection and the interesting dynamic of COVID happening like 2020, and then now we're top of 2026 where AI is sort of sweeping Spotify. Like you'd never know, you know, and I'm seeing influencers who are beauty influencers be like, whoa, I found my Spotify put this new artist on my playlist. And I was like, this song's amazing. And then I tried to do a deep, like, who is this? And then they figured it out. The layperson, not the musician, figured out like, this is an AI artist. And they were like, ew, they didn't like it. They didn't like the fact that they were being pushed something fake, which I'm encouraged by. And some people do like it. It's fine. The reality though, of we're in the same generation, the generation that we're in, all of us, you know, whatever Z, X,
whatever age we are. Yeah.
But we've all lived through now both COVID and the AI takeover of things like that both of those things have served to disconnect us from people and lose connection, lose the in-person interface. And I would hope, to your point, that after COVID, we would be like, nah, we don't need to do that. We already played that game. We got to get out of our house and go see a live performance. We need to go get out of our house and interface with people in the flesh versus drone out back into an online world where we're just falling apart. I mean, and there are going to be plenty of people that do, but I would hope that somewhat how like the collective of us would be like, we've been there. We've done that. And it have some kind of a intolerance for it so that we can use AI for the benefits that it can bring us, but also not let it
overtake us.
Take us over. Like
and that's why I'm a big proponent in my coaching right now. I really try to stress as much as I can exactly what you're saying. Like, again, communicate really well, get really good at communicating with each other. Again, especially in the flesh. Get really good at communicating in your art so that that vulnerability does come through. Like the story that you're trying to tell, just it lands, you know? And then get so freaking good at performing it live. That is the secret recipe to the success of your future as an artist, right? You're going to stand out. You're gonna stand out. And I think that's what you're seeing. And you should be excited for the next 5 to 10 years of the possibilities because you have spent these past 8 to 10 years digging in deep and doing things you didn't want to do on any given day. But really sharpening your skill sets to connect with people. You know, it's a beautiful thing that I'm going to say it probably every day for the rest of my life. It is the greatest asset one can possess as we move forward. Right? And when you wrap that with love,
that's community. That's community.
It's world changing.
You know?
It is world changing. It's life changing. It is life itself.
How is an independent artist, so you've been an independent artist, how is the navigating of like the building of the career and all of that, some of the nuts and bolts maybe of the last handful of years? You've mentioned all these different pockets and cities that you've traveled to and really built communities there. What are some other things that have been really important to your growth as an artist and your, even monetarily speaking, from like pure making money as an artist to staying creative as an artist? And have you ever wanted, kind of as an off sidebar question, have you ever wanted to sign with an independent or a major label?
Great questions. So you were speaking earlier of like give some tidbits or maybe some pointers or such. So I'm going to kind of try to encompass this. Have I ever wanted to sign major or independent? I have never been offered. I have, when I sit and think about it, I I opened for Daryl Worley a couple of years ago.
Oh, cool.
And,
Great artist.
And sweetest
I've
of
heard
sweet
that about
human
him.
beings. He's just lovely.
Everything I've heard
and he
about
was
him.
wonderful live, musically speaking. But he offered me some advice. I don't even know how why we were on the subject or how we got to it, but I felt like he kind of like dad, like he like didn't actually grab my cheeks, but I felt like he was like holding my cheeks and he was like, look at me. You do this on your own as long as you possibly can.
Yeah. So good.
He was like, I am of the last generation where labels made sense.
Yeah. Wow.
Where they were impactful, where I made money, where the artist made money from the label. He's like, that is not how it is structured these days. You do this on your own as long as you physically possibly can.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like imprinted on my frontal lobe and I see it in the mirror.
Yeah.
But I do think that I took that almost to an extreme of hurting myself to the point where I was doing everything all the time on my own, to where not everything was being done to the best of that it could be done because you can't ride two horses with one ass, right?
Can't what?
Ride two horses with one ass.
Oh. I did not hear that at all. That's so good. Guess it depends on how big your ass is.
Fair.
Yeah, that's true. But advice-wise that I would give is if you're an independent artist and you've grown your career to the best of your ability, know when to ask for help.
Yes.
Have the
Sage
capacity
advice.
to look at yourself and go, I'm out of my depth.
Yep.
Thankfully.
Yes.
I
It's
got
time.
myself out of my depth.
That's, yeah. 'cause
But
that's a
I
growth
need
problem.
some floaties.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I'm
great.
a little tired.
Yeah.
You
But the
know.
point is, you still own everything.
I own everything.
You're just bringing help.
Yes. And the other advice that I would give that was absolutely crucial to my growth on the business end of things is letting people know I needed help. So not only accepting the help, but looking out and saying, when I had someone approach me and go like, why are you here? Why aren't you bigger? Why aren't you doing this? Why haven't you done that? And I go, at that point, this is literally what I said. I looked at this man and said, I need money.
Yeah.
He's like, why aren't you bigger? Why don't you have number? You know, you're so great. Your music's so good. How, you know, and I just said, I had nothing to lose. It's like, I need money. I was like, I've gotten myself this far. I've created this album. I'm releasing on my own. I have dug down every YouTube hole I can dig down. I have bought coffee for anyone who will entertain me. I have asked the questions. I have notebooks full of notes. I have a strategy. I have everything in line down to like, here's my business plan. If someone were to approach me with an offering, because that's how serious I am. And I just said it to him. I was like, I need money. I'm at the point, I need money.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we can help you with that. And it was that random.
Wow.
And that simple.
That's so good.
You know,
How
but it
many
was,
people
had I
would
not
miss
opened
that?
my mouth,
Yes.
had I just
Would
looked
not
in and
have-
been like,
Yes.
oh, I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
Humble.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Would
we're
I've been-
so adverse
I would
to
be here.
sharing our needs often. You
Yeah.
know, it's like we want people to read our minds. We want our needs met, but we don't want to have to voice them because it takes extreme vulnerability.
Or we don't wanna
want to be seen
take
a
up
certain
space.
way. Yeah.
You know?
And so, I mean, mad
It's also
props
just really hard
you.
to ask.
It is. It can be embarrassing. It
Yeah.
can feel like it's some sort of a statement on your self-worth somehow. And so I think that's amazing that you said it.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, this is just the reality. I need money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it is, you know, the music part I have, the business part I need help with.
Yeah.
And the business part is business and business is money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I am of the mindset, you know, I'm aware of the fact that I'm in a creative endeavor. I'm aware of the fact that my product is not tangible. I'm aware of the fact that I'm selling intellectual property and that it is to a taste of other human beings or not. So to speak with businessmen and women, I've also learned I really enjoy business. I enjoy being around those who are successful and run businesses and companies and feed 75 families through their payroll. Like these are all mindsets that I crave to be around and learn from.
Sure.
I'm still looking for that person in the creative field. I have a lot of people around me in, you know, one guy's in oil, one guy's in concrete, one woman is in coaching. Like I have all of these successful men and women around me, but they're not in the creative field. So I'm still kind of trying to find my North Star for that. So if you're listening, call me.
Yeah. She's asking.
Yeah, I'm asking, please. But the business part, I've tried to make it where I enjoy it, where it doesn't intimidate me. The first time, so with my, with investing, with working with business people, like-minded people, I had to learn how to sit with money.
Yeah.
I have never had that experience. That's another advice I would give to up-and-coming artists. Work on your relationship with money.
Yeah.
It is a relationship. Like she can be your mistress or your wife.
Yeah.
What do you want it to be?
Yeah.
So a great book that I think is a great resource is there's a book called The Artist Way.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. It has helped me immensely. If you can get through Rick Rubin's book,
The Creative Act.
Fabulous
It's
book. Awesome.
I think that one should be required reading for artists.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it is, I will say there are times of it where I'm like, oh, this is a lot. Like a lot of
Yeah. He goes into like the woo-woo-iest
Which
place,
I'm
then
in.
he's like sucks you back into, you better work on your craft.
Yeah.
I love that.
Being
I love
undeniable.
And listen, when you get sucked into your woo-woo, that is weird.
Yeah.
You know what is a great way to get through that book is the audiobook.
That's what I did.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
I did that with the
Audiobook's
Artist
great.
Way too. I've just learned that I'm such an audible person. I'm such an audible processor. So for me to sit with a book, I like learning. I enjoy reading, but I'm way better at somebody reading it to me and me taking it in.
Yeah.
But those two books were very influential of my you are an artist.
Yeah.
Act like it.
That's good. Yeah.
Move forth with that embodiment. So not being scared to ask for help, taking it when it comes, and proactively working on your relationship with your artistry, yourself, and money. Those would be my advice.
So good.
It's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Like this podcast, if you're a indie artist out there, or honestly, really just anyone trying to explore a passion and a dream, there's some really great life advice in here.
Yeah. Bookmark this and listen to it.
Bookmark it
times.
over and over and over, and then get those two audio books that she mentioned.
Yeah.
Bookend those, right?
Yeah.
That'd be good, right?
Creative
You
Act.
mentioned,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Well, I was going to say you mentioned your upcoming record.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask too.
Tell us about it.
Yes. Okay. So my next single is dropping February 20th. It's called Big Picture. It'll be out anywhere you listen to music. It's a song I wrote. I host a songwriters retreat down in Port St. Joe, Florida, once a year. It's called Hooked.
cool.
Yeah, Hooked Songwriters Retreat.
Yeah,
Look it up.
it's fun.
We're on Instagram. But I wrote this song with a gentleman named Eric Erdman, the producer, Jess Grommet, and then my good long-term friend. Her name is Beth Behe. She's also a fellow artist. And she is over in Switzerland. That's how I've been getting a lot of my connections playing over there and whatnot.
Hey, that is not a bad place to go
No,
play.
it's wonderful. I'm playing a couple festivals this year and I'm so excited.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. But we wrote a song. We were sitting on the beach or sitting beachside, and we had a bit of a woo-woo conversation of, the cosmos and how being on the beach and at night, the stars were wild. It was, you could actually see that the world was round, that it was so dark and the stars were so prevalent. And then you're right there on the ocean, very scenic.
Yeah.
But it made us just have this conversation of we're so small, but yet we feel so connected to something so big. And it takes all of us to make it spin around, right? And so the kind of the heart of Big Picture is that idea of one of my favorite lines in it is I say, Big Bang heartbeat, lit the flame for us. How I found you, I can't believe my luck. Is it all just as simple as rhythm and rhyme? Is our love complex? Was it made by design? Feeling infinite hope in a finite time. Hard as I try, I'm still learning that I can't put a frame on the big picture.
Wow.
And so it's just that idea of, if you're into those things, I suggest mark it February 20th. Go to my pre-save it, do all the things.
Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram. That's my bread and butter. I'm 34, so that's kind of my lane.
Yeah.
It's I am my last name, Pfister, Fister. I am Pfister. Tera Lynne on anything else you can find me. Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, my YouTube. I focus really hard on having a lot of live performance on my YouTube.
Oh, fun.
Whether it's I work a lot with a quartet. We do a lot of reimagined versions of my songs that are out already as a quartet and vocal take. It's been going really well. So if you're into those things, I might be your girl.
Hey,
yeah.
We'll have it all tagged and linked there in this podcast. So, hey, before we go, I would like to, I just thought, Carlos, our little traditional medicinals we love.
Ooh,
I like to read these.
Okay.
I think you have a yogi tea, right?
I do.
So you have yogi tea.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah. So there is pleasure in the pathless woods. Lord Byron. I just went to the Lord Byron in Italy, like Lord Byron's hangout spots. I didn't know a lot about it. My friend's big, and she's like huge into literature, and she was freaking out, like, oh, this is where Lord Byron was in the sea. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. It was beautiful. Yeah, so that's cool. Little traditional medicinals. What is this? What tea is this?
And I think it correlated really well with you kept bringing up you have to create the path. It's going to be a wooded, you have to kind of cut down the trees yourself. Mine says, the brightness of your being is generated from within.
Ooh, I like that.
I like it.
I like it. Do you have one?
Shaker. No, I don't have tea.
We forgot. Oh, you don't have tea? I thought you had tea.
Where is
we
it?
love our medicinal teas here. Our herbal teas. You all should get some at home.
We have a little game.
One last thing here. I almost forgot. Thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome.
So we have 2 martini shakers. I'm known to like a martini or so, as you say.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start using that. I had a martini or so. Just lightens it, you know. Instead of saying I had 5.
I'm impressed if you did.
Let's shake the martini shakers. Okay. We'll tell you how this game goes. There we go. Okay. In one martini shaker, I don't know which is which, we have names of famous artists. In the other, we have names of famous songs. You're going to pull one of each out, and then we'll tell you what to do next. All right. What you got?
Ooh, Sinatra.
Okay, we got some Sinatra.
Good.
Uncle Pete's going to be proud.
And then here, this one's hard to get into.
Happy birthday.
So we need you to sing Happy Birthday in your best version of Frank Sinatra that you can.
Okay.
You can even throw in a little Rosemary Clooney if that's easier.
Happy birthday to you. Ba-da-da-da.
Hey.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh my gosh.
Da-da-da. Happy birthday, dear you.
Hey.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Oh my goodness! Hands down, give us some sounds, Carlos. That was like hands down the best ever done on the podcast,
absolutely.
And also I think the only person maybe to ever do the full song.
The full song. And have like zero pushback.
No,
Zero
you just
hesitation.
went out of the gate.
You're like
Straight to the Mount Rushmore.
Yes. Like that was, we are blown away. You blew us away.
So great.
That, in a nutshell, you guys, says everything about who Tera Lynne is as an
really
artist
does.
and a performer. Check her out. That was fabulously fantastic. I wish we had a bigger parting gift than a coffee mug for her.
What a great way to end.
But
thank you.
We will definitely have you back.
I love my coffee
This has
mug.
been amazing.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Think of us.
Yeah.
Think of us when you have your coffee or your tea.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
Where did the name come from?
That's a great question. So we all 3 of us came up through the rungs of a very successful coaching network and a very famous mentor in vocal coaching. And, I'd never wanted to be a vocal coach, never thought about it. He saw that gift in me and really kind of encouraged me over and over. I was doing full-time music at the time with a tenor group in Canada. And eventually I was like, I think I'll say yes to this because when I was home, I was just spending money. If we weren't on tour, I wasn't a studio singer, things like that. I wasn't really into songwriting that much. And so I was like, maybe I'll say yes to this. One of the best yeses, if not the greatest yes I've ever said.
Okay.
Right? Because it's led me to everything today.
Yeah.
Right? And getting to work with amazing people and meet amazing people like you. And so I knew nothing. I was very lucky as a kid to have talented coaches.
Yeah.
Especially growing up in a small town, some successful coaches moved to the area because it was like a little retirement area too. And so I had good like pedigree and being coached by some, but it was mainly like, do these skills, sing these songs. I had natural talent, so it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
I meet our mentor, a guy named Brett Manning, and it blew my mind. Like I've
taken from his some of his students.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So we all kind of trained under. We all trained under Brett, and so
we all worked at that studio. At
one
point.
Yeah.
And so
how funny.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Melody Walker?
She's new.
She's new now.
Okay.
Yeah, we know her. So
she just got certified.
Last year. Okay. Gotcha. So during this process, I moved to LA. Right. I moved to LA in 2011. Was there till COVID, and it became apparent. Brett started there. There was no plan for me to go there. I was just moving there. The tenors were in Canada. I was closer to Vancouver. I'd always wanted to live in California.
Okay.
So it becomes a little apparent over a few years, like I just kind of probably need to do my own thing, right? And so one day I'm leaving the gym, driving back home, and Brett calls me and he's like, hey, you got a minute to talk? Yeah. He's like, I've been thinking like, this isn't working so great. I want to give you my blessing to just go do your own thing.
Yeah.
And that was a big moment for me. It was a big moment for him. I don't think he'd ever done that before. And so I was going to do my own business, right?
Yeah.
And I never knew anything about celebrity vocal coaching or that there were these levels of coaches. I just thought it was coaches. And it's a pretty competitive world. It can be pretty how would you describe it? Ick, because the coaches just talk bad about each other. Not all of them, but a lot do because of this competitiveness. It can
you don't coach.
Good. It can be a very scarcity mentality. Like I'm going to protect my little flock. Don't get close to them.
Yeah.
And to be fair, a lot of artists are not loyal, so they'll bounce. We've all had it happen. You'll pour into them for 5 years, and then before you know it, they're gone to someone else. It's fine. Go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But at least call me and say, hey, I'm going to go work with this person now.
This is a long story to tell her how the vocal came up.
I know. Well,
I appreciate it, though.
This is the point.
Yeah,
but you have to have the context because this is the context.
Okay.
You must not know the story.
Well, I mean, I kind of do. But.
Okay. So I start this new business, and I did not want to call it just my name.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Vocal Lab Collective. At the time, I was in LA, and I was doing like yoga and smoothie. I was being also LA. It was like, it'd be really cool to have a space that had all this, like the Vocal Lab. And the collective was like, I want to be a coach that works with other coaches collectively.
Yeah.
And we work with artists collectively, not just
and
protect
I think
my own.
that's I was listening to you speak on the singers using different vocal coaches. Mm-hmm. Now, I, not being a celebrity, I have never had this is my person. Mm-hmm. But I've always found it very helpful to use different vocal coaches in general because it just gives you a broader spectrum.
Yeah, we're actually proponents of that. It's not that we're not.
I love that the collective part of what you created. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's where it came from.
From a vocalist, I appreciate that in your business.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We just felt like as a podcast name, it fit, even though, because it started with like Jason's business, and then he would kind of bring in other people to be like, let's do some stuff together. So we've collaborated for many years. I mean, Jason was probably my first like friend in many ways, or
thank you. That was sweet.
Not first friend of my life, but I'm sorry, in Nashville when I moved here. Because I moved
we talked about that.
I know, Chat's my friend. The first like colleague and friend that I had moving here, because we met pretty much right away.
Yeah.
Once I got here to Nashville. But it felt like a really good, substantial covering of like a lot of things that made sense for the podcast to be named also the Vocal Lab Collective.
And we just trust each other so much and respect each other so much. And I think that's a big thing for coaches too, like to respect another coach enough to trust them with this life that you've been entrusted with.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of trust highway there that has to happen. So it is a special thing when it does happen. And I just want to see more of it with coaching all around the world, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, thanks for having
Communicating
me,
well and
Thank
be collective in your communication, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this has been amazing. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We'll have you back for sure. Check her out if you're ever in Nashville on a Monday night. And if not, hit those streaming services right away.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Vocal Lab podcast. Ready to join the top ranks of the music industry? Don't forget to follow and subscribe for more first-class conversations that make the extraordinary your new ordinary. Until next time, keep striving for your top note.